Let's get another Omnibus out of its box. This is Thor by Maths Fractions, and I still cannot justify why I pre-ordered this. I would love to say I was drunk and it was 2 a.m. But I don't drink, and my brain medication to stop me from jumping off a cliff usually has put me to bed by 2 a.m. This was 4 comics from about 2011. I think one reason I wanted this is because it has the Fear on Shelf main series, and that was never collected in oversized hardcover. Just took the plastic off. In terms of what I have actually read in this, I have read Fear on Shelf, I think. If I have not read Fear on Shelf, then I have definitely seen every page of it to create a sense of illusion that I have read it. I have also read one story called The World Eaters, which is garbage, terrible art, bad writing, poor story. Underneath we have this wraparound referring to a Michael Bryan Benson crossover. I think I'll put the dust jacket back on. Here are our contents. We begin with this one shot that I have not read called Thor Ages of Thunder, and they did a 3 3/4 inch action figure based on this Thor design. I'll start by saying I don't really like this Thor. This period of Thor. Pretty much any Thor comics past Stan Jurgensen, they really peeled away the fantastical and made a comic look like a budget network TV show. And it would not be one of my videos if I didn't get into a rant about a creator who is in no way represented in this collection and only loosely connects to it. You see, when Michael Bryan Benson took over the Avengers, he didn't want to write Thor. He thought Thor was stupid and goofy. So he got his friend to write 5 issues of Thor, where not only is Thor killed off, but Thor's entire mythology is killed off. Fuck Thor and his fans. Benson doesn't want to write him in Avengers. And rather than just say he is leaving the team or he is busy, torch it all. Burn Thor and his mythology to the ground. So for 3 years, Thor was gone. There was no Thor. There was no Thor comic. There was no Fairyland. They were gone. Totally gone. Then JMS Michael Straczynski rebooted Thor, and it was really, really popular. It was an incredible seller. People liked it. I didn't really. It was, like I said, it felt like a TV show from the noughties. But everyone else seemed to like it. And then Benson, who never wanted to write Thor, so much that he had someone else destroy Thor, Benson decides he wants to write Thor now that Thor is popular. And he wants his next crossover to be Thor. Basically, Benson wants to claim Thor. He wants to claim JMS Michael Straczynski's success as his own. I have said before, there is a long list of cases where Benson clearly wants to adopt Summit to confuse people and convince them that he is actually responsible for its creation or all of its success. So, after 12 issues, JMS Michael Straczynski, he has everything that he set up robbed and given to Benson for a crossover that wrecked everything JMS Michael Straczynski had been working towards. This writer, who had made Thor successful again after Benson had gotten rid of the character, this writer who made Thor a huge seller, this writer who revitalised the character, he quits because Marvel, once again, were only given preferential treatment to Benson and nobody else. And by Marvel, I mean Tom Brevoort. There's again a long list of creators abandoning Marvel because Tom Brevoort was only interested in Benson and making Benson comics. So many creators got ignored or had their ideas given to Benson, or they lost control of their characters or stories because of Benson. It's sad. It was a miserable time to be reading comics. And the result was we lost what could have been a very long, successful Thor run. And after the departure of the main writer of the series, it shuffled around for a long time, and Maths Fractions wound up the apparent direction for Thor. And at the end of the day, nobody really talks about this Thor run. It's forgotten about. Secret Evasion 4. This is a mini-series, and I have actually read this. I read it when it was coming out. And all I remember is that Beta Ray Cyrus returns in it.
Don't break my heart, my achy breaky.
Do not forget for a minute, Billy Ray Cyrus, one-hit wonder and father of Miley Cyrus. He is in David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. You might not have noticed it because you fast forward to the softcore lesbian porn scene with Naomi Watts. Here is another one shot. This one is about Scorch, the egg cushioner. It is about people remembering his death 25 years after the fact. The one thing I know about this is that you get to see Amanda the Enchanter fuck a tree. And if you're really into that idea, you're in luck because she will fuck another tree later on. So then we get to... This is that World Eater story. Awful art. One of the least talented people who have hung around the industry for 30 years. And the story is beyond bland. It also treats Baldrick like a lump of shit. And I get the feeling that is because he is the main character in Thor mythology who was not going to be in the movie. We eventually get a new number one and a better artist. And I have not read this, but one of the big things was, as just mentioned, the first Thor movie was on the horizon, so Marvel were open to tie into that and simplify the Thor books down to something that moviegoers could understand. This first arc as Silver Surfman, Galactus Man, and the Destroyer Droid. And this cover is all I know about this story. So, Fear on Shelf is in here. And this was a crossover by Maths Fractions that was custom built to capitalise on the first movies of Thor and Captain America. And at the time, and still to this day, people razz on this and act like it is a terrible story. But it is totally okay. We have got great art by Catherine Immonen's husband. We have a simple story with Red Skull Man's daughter getting a magic Thor armor, which is sadly expanded into several characters getting magic armors. And there are elements like that where it is unnecessary and it's only there to draw it out into a line-wide crossover instead of what it should have been, which was a compact event series with this one central bad guy. But the main story with Red Skull Man's daughter, I don't mind it in concept. It is insane that it was this that people pointed to as the sort of shit crossover that Marvel were doing after years of most of them being written by Michael Bryan Benson. Say what you want about Maths Fractions or his despicable taste in a wife, but he was far more capable at writing comics than Benson ever was or ever will be. You look at Maths Fractions and you have a body of work of different comics to consider. You look at Benson, and while the titles may change, they are all the exact same thing. There is no real variety in any of Benson's work. It's all just a Benson book instead of whatever he is writing. And there's a nice shot of the Avengers there at the end. After Fear on Shelf, Thor briefly was killed off, and we focused on this character that I know nothing about. This is a pretty worthless unboxing video. Here are the two greatest pages in collected editions history. This is the greatest cover ever that they butchered when it came time to print it by nonsensically covering the middle of it with the Thor logo instead of just having the logo in the background at the top like normal. I'm not really into the tree fucking element of the character that Maths Fractions introduces. If I was a tree, yeah, this would be great, but I'm not a tree. This does nothing for me. Yeah, I do not have the most to say about this because I have not read a lot of it. I own it now and I still may never read it. That is the gamble with me and collections. I did some research. I have unboxed 54 things. And of those, I have only sat down and read 2 of them. I think my ratio is 1 in 30. Anyway, in conclusion, if you haven't seen it, find a clip of the lesbian scene in Mulholland Drive. Naomi Watts and Laura Oren. Full frontal nudity from the former. Only part of the film worth watching. And I will give that scene 7 thumbs up.